It's taken 4 years and cost close to £500,000 in legal fees, but the so-called gay cake case could finally be over. This was the dispute over whether a baker in Belfast had the right to refuse to bake a cake bearing the legend "Support Gay Marriage." Went all the way to the Supreme Court, and Mark Simpson, the BBC's Ireland correspondent, explains the verdict the court delivered.
Well, this has been an issue which has been going on for more than 1,600 days. It's been through 2 courts in Northern Ireland. It then reached the highest court in the land on Wednesday at the Supreme Court. A very complex legal issue which has divided legal opinion, political opinion and public opinion, given the fact that the circumstances were very, very unusual. A gay rights activist going into a bakery in the middle of Belfast and being refused a cake with a slogan on it that he wanted baked. But I have to say, when Lady Hale, the president of the Supreme Court, summed up the case on Wednesday, delivering her judgment, she made it all seem quite simple.
The bakers did not refuse to fulfil his order because of his sexual orientation. They would have refused to make such a cake for any customer, irrespective of their sexual orientation. Their objection was to the message on the cake.
Right, so the Supreme Court found very clearly in favour of the bakers. It has, as you say, been an enormous story in Northern Ireland for months and months. What's the reaction been?
I suppose predictable, because Northern Ireland being a divided society, there is divided opinion. But not, Edward, on traditional lines that you would have reported on over many years, and me as well, in terms of the fact that it hasn't been a Catholic-Protestant divide. In fact, it's been the opposite. The Catholic and Protestant churches have come together on this. It's been more of a liberal-conservative divide here in Northern Ireland. Well, the MacArthur family, who are the bakers, who are right at the heart of it, are a very conservative, evangelical Christian family. They have been led throughout this in terms of the public face by the general manager of the bakery, Daniel MacArthur, and his wife Amy. I have to say, this case has lasted so long. They've had 3 children since it began, and they've been speaking overnight, an in-house interview, if you like, with the Christian Institute, giving their reaction to what has been said not just on mainstream media but social media since this whole case began.
The most difficult moment for me over the past few years was right at the very beginning, when the story appeared in the newspapers and your Facebook email mailbox started filling up with horrible lies about your family. That was hard not to let that get to you.
One of the hardest things as well was whenever other Christians said that they didn't think you were doing the right thing by pursuing it through the courts, when we had every right to do that. God's sustained us, and He's given us the grace and the strength that we need to come through it.
I have to say, having followed this case for the past 4.5 years and got to know a little bit the key players involved, life will never be quite the same for any of them ever again. In many ways, they are ordinary people thrust into an extraordinary set of circumstances.